The income tax is a part of Social Security under 7203 of Title 26. So what's happened here is we join Social Security voluntarily. Then the net result of Social Security is the requirement that we file and pay an income tax. And when the federal income tax was launched back in 1913, the tax was levied on only the super wealthy, the richest 0.5% of the population, with a top tax rate of 7%. Today, of course, the fears of the early opponents of the tax have been more than fully realized. And by the end of Herbert Hoover's term, the top rate had jumped to 60%. And by the time Franklin Roosevelt was done, the top rate was over 90%. And the tax had been dramatically expanded to seize the incomes of the middle class for the first time. In 1913, the average family had to work until January 30th before earning enough to satisfy the tax man at all levels. This year, the average American family will work until May 12th. Well, for example, if you buy a $10 pizza in order to celebrate being done with the IRS for another year, the tax man will be right there to grab 2 slices. Because on top of paying the sales tax, you'll also be picking up a major chunk of what the government charges the pizza shop owner for his local property taxes, unemployment insurance taxes, federal payroll taxes, federal, state, and local income taxes, workers' compensation taxes, and altogether, according to a study by the Americans for Tax Reform, that's $3.80 on a $10 pizza. Now, if you pick up a 6-pack of Bud to go with the pizza, that's another 43 cents on every beer dollar that goes straight to the tax man for excise taxes. Let's say you want to drink Jack Daniels. Well, the tax man's share is $7.20 on that $10 bill. That's 75% tax. If you want to go lighter and just drink Pepsi-Cola, then the tax is only 35%, or about half what it is for Jack Daniels. A recent study by Price Waterhouse shows that there are 30 different taxes imposed on the production and sale of a loaf of bread, which is 27% of the average retail price. When you buy new tires, it's 36% that goes to the tax man. On the price of a new car, an Americans for Tax Reform study shows that the total taxes reach 45% of the showroom sticker price. Now, I can remember my dad buying a 1955 Chevrolet automobile for $2,500 cash in 1955. Now those cars cost $20,000, and half the price of it, well, 45%, half the price, $10,000, is in taxes. Think of that. At the start of this nation's unique experiment with individual sovereignty and limited government, taxation without representation was tyranny. It was the watchword of the American Revolution. For our founding fathers, a level of taxation of only a few cents on the dollar, siphoned off to a faraway and arrogant bureaucracy, was enough to ignite a revolution. It was enough to grab the trusty musket off the wall. Well, Social Security is going to pay you $800 a month, or about $70,000 if you're single. Now, if you're married, you get a little more. Now, you'd think, ladies, that if your husband's going to get $805, that you ladies ought to get $805, but you don't. You only get $1,350. But if you divorce that clout, you'd get the full $805. Then you'd have $1,610 if you just lived together in sin.